Welcome back to Fintech Minute Steak. Today we are talking to one of the OG Fintechs of Hong Kong who came in from Ireland, set up here, Claus Christensen, who is the founder and CEO of Know Your Customer, done a lot of work in facilitating major change in financial services, working with both Fintechs and financial services firms. I'll not talk too much about it, but I will let Claus handle this. Claus, how are you doing today?
Hi Musheer, thanks very much for having me on. Very good. I'm here at the AFF 2024, and to me, 2024 alone sounds like future, doesn't it? And being here expresses that.
How are things with KYC, as I call it, right? Know Your Customer. What have you been doing in the last 3 to 5 years, especially emerging through COVID and out of COVID?
3 to 5 years, man, that is like an entire world for 8 years. I ran 8 different companies because every year had completely different challenges. A lot has happened in the, let's say, last 3 years here for KYC. As you can imagine, in this space of regulatory compliance and compliance technology for large banks, the challenge is really to gain the trust of the financial players out there in the industry, banks, large institutions that are much older, much longer in the business. And that took a while. But 3 years ago, things really started rolling for us. And so we finally got the first financial institution large enough to qualify as a tier 1 here in Hong Kong. So I'm very glad for setting up our operations. Founding 8 years ago here in Hong Kong, but also our first tier 1 was here, not somewhere else. We were the right choice. After that, a few more institutions came out. So first one, Standard Chartered, American Express, Hang Seng Bank, OCBC, ZA, and Power Bank, the virtual banking space. And we went over to Singapore and did start there as well. Aspire, the virtual bank, a really good customer for us. Payment space, pioneers and others, and finally DBS. So we're now embedded in quite a few institutions. We concentrate on one thing, that is business entity verification, not the KYC of individuals as you might think if you see our networks. And that has been a roller coaster ride as any startup is, but it's also really rewarding to get through that learning experience. So Musheer, you've seen it.
Yeah, I have. Like it's been a tremendous growth to see you guys grow, and been very resilient in that market. But also, it's been good to see the regulations evolve, right? Both here in Hong Kong with what started smart banking into virtual banking, and then progressing into Singapore and other places. I want to ask you, with regards to as a founder and CEO of a company, what have been the 3 key lessons you've learned over the last 3 years, right? That you want to share with other founders in how to be this resilient and come through on the other side of a tough business environment?
Well, founder CEO is an interesting job. I would say, I haven't prepared for this, but I would say one of the most important things is to be absolutely resilient. Like, that is the one thing you cannot flunk out of this. You have to stay on the game. And there's a deep commitment necessary, or else you will be shaken out at some point, because it is a roller coaster. But like, more to the point, every founder has areas where they're good at, areas where they don't know so much about. And your job as a founder is to find the right people, and also to put the right attention to each area after you discover things there, learn more. And in any way, learning, I'd say that's number 1. Learning is the number 1 priority for every and every CEO, because it changes so much.
So Claus, what are your plans for 2024?
Well, this is an interesting year for KYC. In many ways, 2023 was successful, but also difficult for the companies. As you know, the funding situation globally has been very, very difficult. And so it's not as easy to access growth funding. And so we decided not to and do this organically, which meant we have to be profitable. And we are. So from this basis now, it gets really, really interesting. As we scale up our means and can invest more, in marketing and sales to scale up our operations. Currently, our best markets are Hong Kong and Singapore. From here, we go into Southeast Asia. Several countries very, very interesting. Don't want to completely commit at this time, but interesting developments in the Philippines, interesting development in Thailand. We'll see where all that goes. And of course, we will scale up into more financial institutions. There's still a lot to do. We just got elected into the CDI, the Commercial Data Interchange of HKMA, the regulator here, which is a super important step, but it will mean a ton of work working with financial systems here to connect them all to this data. By now, we have 142 countries connected to our system, not just jurisdiction, real countries, and that means we'll invest more in that, stabilize the whole thing, and really get to the limit with the system. Want to do 2024, and also prepare bigger jumps as to the US, but that's later in the year.
Okay, exciting. Looking forward to your scale and growth, and we'll touch base later in the year to see how things have gone and hearing more better things for 2025. Thanks again for featuring in Fintech Minutes Take, and we look forward to staying in touch.
Musheer, thanks for having me on.